Hey y'all, Real Jimmy Roberts one here. Just sitting here reading some of these comments. Sorry, it took me a second to get on here. I've got a minor problem going on. Any of you that have ever seen Ella, our somewhat of a Yorkie puppy, there's fireworks going on outside, and she's scared to death, and I'm scared she's gonna poop on my feet down here in a minute. But anyway, yeah, guys, I wanted to hop on here this evening, and it's uh, it's 9:30 here in East Texas, so it's 10:30 out there on the East Coast, and I know over in the UK we're looking at what about 5 or 6 hours ahead of that. So listen, I'm not going to show any Mars pictures on this stream this evening because what we've got coming up with the Mars images is going to be really good. A guy named Sanford is what I call him. Sent me an image via email, and it's an old opportunity image from NavCam images, and he's asking me had I ever seen that, and honestly, I had not seen it, and I was pretty amazed by the image, and I got to looking around at the images before and after it, and it just kind of really blew me away, and I want to do a show about it, but I want to get Chris Maroney and David Gannett both on the show. I think they'll both be on board right now. Chris is we hadn't been able to talk to him the last couple of days. David suggested maybe his parole officer has him under leash right now. Just kidding, of course. He hasn't been hanging out with Tyler, Secure Team 10, lately. But here, hopefully later this weekend, if I can get them both tied down, we're going to look at these because I have a feeling, I think David Gannett has done something on this area before. But it's the opportunity. The image quality is a little different from what we have now with Curiosity. But man, folks, we don't need to bypass this old stuff. We got really strong evidence right there. Something else that's going to be going on here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have Daryl Sims on here, the alien hunter. And if you don't know who he is, now I met the guy. I met Daryl. I don't know which day yet. We're gonna rope that down. I say rope because Daryl is a fellow Texan. He's down in Houston, and I've met with the guy before. He's a great guy. He's one of those cowboy hat Texans, and he's considered the world's leading expert on alien abductions. Now I don't know how you feel about alien abductions. Most of the things that I go after when we're looking at Mars and the moon anymore, I try to leave that stuff separate because I'm just looking straight tangible evidence. What do we have? Trying to show the world that we have a devastated civilization on Mars and that there's shenanigans going on the moon. When it comes to things like ghosts and goblins, and I really hate to put those in the same category because there are such a thing as spirits. I think we all agree with that, whether you're religious or not. Spirits seem to definitely exist. Otherwise, what would we be? Alien abductions, I don't know what your take is on it. I'll give you my take during that show, but Daryl, he's got evidence. He has more physical evidence than anyone in the world. Now, I need to ask you guys something real quick. Okay, it says we have no evidence. I was making sure I had audio. I hadn't asked you yet. I understand that about the evidence and alien abductions, but we're going to have the opportunity to talk to the man himself. Now, look, he has been, he's been, believe it or not, the Animal Planet. I saw him on that. It was on uncovering aliens, and I'm having to read some of this. I got to admit, because there's so much that he's done. I can't remember. He's been on the Colbert Report, Only in America, with Larry the Cable Guy. Now that's a strange one. I didn't see that. He's been on Joe Rogan. Been on CNN Special Report, Sightings, Paranormal Borderline, Confirmation on NBC, Unexplained. I don't know what that is. Hard Copy. He has been on the Ricky Lake Show. It goes on and on and on. He travels the world talking about this. And if you ever sit down and talk with Daryl, I mean, I consider myself a real person. I think most of you realize that. I'm not trying to fool anyone, and he's not either. And I'll let him explain the reasons why he got into what he's doing. He is former CIA. He was a CIA operative. And so he kind of knows how things work a little bit within the government. And he actually has said the way they operate is not that different. And I think you'll find that really interesting. And we'll have him show and demonstrate some of the evidence that he has. And you can ask the man himself about it. We're going to have him right here. And hopefully that'll be in the next couple of weeks. About the logo. I need a new logo, and I'm not talking about that Mars Fam logo over there, okay? I'm not talking about that. Hey, what's going on in the Netherlands? It's not always the same Nederland folks that we get on here. Some of you are just really, man, it's y'all are 7, 8, 9 hours ahead there. You know, what is going on? Tell me you're working the night shift. Anyway, the logo. MarsFam.net is fine, but if you've ever looked at the logo that I have on the YouTube channel, you probably see it sitting there somewhere by the Real Jimmy Roberts 1. Okay? That. Do you see that? We need a new logo. This logo's freaking people out. I've had people complain about it. I've gotten questions, everything from, what the hell is that, to, hey man, that's freaky. I can't deal with it. Okay. And I actually came up with the idea a while ago of having some sort of contest. If any of you out there are good at, you're a graphic artist or you're good at drawing caricatures or whatever, come up with something and, send it to marsfam.net, Jimmy at marsfam.net. And I tell you what, we'll give this a month or so, and I am going to collect all the entries, and we're going to have an episode where we show them, and we're going to let you folks vote on it. Now, I get a vote, and Martian Missy gets a vote. Actually, I get a veto vote, and she probably does too, but, don't tell her I said that. And I tell you what, the winner of the new logo, $50 gift certificate to the restaurant of your choice, as long as it's something that we can obtain. $50. Yeah, $50. That ought to be able to feed, some of you up late stoners on here might eat $50 worth of food in one sitting, but anyway, y'all come up with something, and we're going to entertain everything. And just remember, when you send it to me, it's probably going to be shown on here, whether we're going to have to, because we're going to have to vote on it. So what is this? What is this? What is this thing? Do you have any idea what this is? Oh, I was just reading this about paranormal borderline from Renee Cruz. Yeah, looks like a Deadpool, a pizza. Yeah, you're all crazy. You're asking Andre if I'm on the east or west coast? No. I'm in East Texas, man. You know, right smack dab kind of in the middle here. So we're Central Daylight Time. Andre, hey, somebody tell me what they think that is. Let's get a little bit closer on it. There we go. Now, what do you see? Knights Temple, Kevin Keena. Hey, Jim, Rudy Rodriguez is in Laredo. Man, I tell you what, y'all, he's in Laredo. That's in Texas. That's in Texas. And I don't want to go all Sheldon on you, but you know what? You know, everything in Texas, oh man, we're talking about, he's probably at least 600 miles from me. Good gosh, man. Whew. Hey, we got Tony Boswell and Tyler. Hey, Ty, you know you're less than 2 hours from me. Knights Temple. Okay, I'm looking at can of compression. A guy with a hat and a beak. Mirror image. A mirror image? I'm going to. And nobody knows what that. Well, that's fine. Okay. Let me show you what it was. Everyone, bear with me. Okay, as you can see, you may not be able to tell, but this is the bottom of a wine glass. Now, this was in Cabo. This was the first big trip I ever took with Martian Missy way back in 2012. And we were just dating at the time. She lived in Austin, Texas, which is not East Texas. And we were sitting out probably smoking a cigar, drinking wine, and there was something weird being broadcast across the wine glass from candlelight. And it was moving. And now you got to understand, Missy is a very grounded person. She is one of the most intelligent humans I've ever known, and practical intelligence. I mean, she's the real deal all the way around. And she looked down at this, and in this, let me find my mouse here. In this area right here, it was moving at the time because of the candlelight. And she just said, look at that. That looks like a heart echo, if you know what that is in the medical industry. She's used to looking at that all the time. She says, that looks, and I didn't know. She says it's a heart echo. She could see it moving. And later on, it was a little disturbing because she told me, well, actually, it would look like a three-chambered heart echo. And that bugged me because, what's three-chambered? Reptiles, frogs, lizards, and such. So I took a video of it, but I don't know where the video went. It disappeared. I just didn't have it. But I did take a picture of it because I thought it looked kind of cool. And after taking the picture, I said, you know what? God, man, I know it's probably pareidolia, but it almost looks like there's eyes back here behind a mask, and it's just beaming something down. And she saw it immediately. And I took it home and threw some brightness and contrast on it. And then once you see the eyes right here, I mean, you can't unsee it. Now, I'm not saying that it's not any more than pareidolia. I'm not saying that. But it really got to looking like somebody beaming something from between their eyes, wearing what we thought was a surgeon's mask. Well, if this were actually anything now, it probably wouldn't be a surgeon's mask, because we all wear masks now. Who knows what it was? But down here at the bottom, this disturbed me a little bit, because after I did the brightness and contrast, I saw very strange shapes down here, and I'm not saying it's anything. It meant something to me, and I don't know, it may or may not mean anything to you. But it meant enough to me, all of this, including the eyes that I saw here, even if it's pareidolia, the eyes behind the mask, that I made my logo out of it. And it's just stayed that way ever since. And if you knew the amount of unusual things that happened to me throughout my life, including when I was a teenager, that most of us happened to my son as well, you would know why I actually look for things and images like this. And No, we do not wear masks. Well, that's fine. Good times in Cabo, Scott Robinson. I tell you what, I've been a couple of times, and whew, man, it's the butterfly effect or its artistic depiction. Oh, explain that to me. If you say this and that, I will believe it. I don't know. I got Ghost on here. The History Channel, 15th season, now owned. What do we got? Big fan of Ancient Aliens. Generation X, I think I've made it known before. It's a good show. I'm sure there's some truth to some of it. It's just they have to expand so much in what they say, just like chasing Bigfoot. I'm not saying Bigfoot doesn't exist, but these shows on television, oh my goodness. Let me show you guys one example while I've got you of another image that appeared on my phone. Now, let me get back over here to me real quick. How do we switch this back? Producer. Thank you. Okay. And guys, this is why we need a new logo. Okay. Come up with something. I want to do an episode at some point that is also completely away from the Mars and Moon stuff and just for fun. But those of you, and we're going to talk about this later, that have, really unexplained images where you think you've caught an apparition, a haint, a ghost, a spirit, where you think you've caught one on film or digital camera. I want to see it. If you really think it's unexplained, I've seen some things that are pretty dang weird. I'm going to show you, and I've got a bunch of them. I don't go hunting this stuff. They've just showed up a large portion of my life. These are part of the reasons why I got so interested in Mars to begin with. Let me explain to you where I was before I show you this upcoming image. I was visiting the home. We're just going to call the woman Sherry. It was about an hour from here because I was having a lot of strange things going on in the house related to when I was a kid, and my son was being affected by them. This is another story for another time, but it's pretty dang bizarre. And it was bad enough that I had to talk to a few different people that put me in touch with somebody who could put me in touch with this woman who was trained by a man named A.R. Borden, Angel Ray Borden. If you look him up, you're going to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Look up the man, A.R. Borden, which I met the man months later in this very house on 2 different occasions. And there's a lot of people out there that would give a lot to have been in my place. I didn't realize who the man was at the time. When I met with this woman for the first time, for a couple hours in her home, I had with me a flip phone, one of those old Samsung phones. This was back in 2009, okay? I did not take any pictures. I never had a single picture appear on my Samsung flip phone in a year and a half that I'd had it that was unwarranted. That just didn't happen. But the next day, after I'd visited this woman in this home, there was a picture on my phone. And I looked at the time on the picture. I said, that was when I was in her house. I did not take any pictures in there. So, let me show you that picture. There it is. Now, there may be someone out there that's seen this before, because I've given this to people before, and it's made its rounds. It's even been presented to me. It's, look at this. It's like, man, that's my picture. It came from my phone. You tell me. I'm going to tell you right now, this one is not pareidolia. I just do not believe it's going to be possible in this one. There's too much. There's too much definition to the eyes. Now, maybe it's something else. But I'm going to tell you, there is a body right there. And something that was brought forward to me by someone that looked at this was that, and this person that looked at it really understood images like this and what was going on. They informed me that there was what she told me was there was 2 entities in this image. One was this one up here. the eyes and the nose with the flared nostrils. And then another one was here with different colored skin, and it was coming out at an angle from the bottom with the nose and the mouth here. And said it was a completely different person from this one. Now, look, I try to be tangible on stuff that I present to you, pictures from Mars, what's going on. We got a catastrophe up there. But I do have stuff like this, and I don't know how to explain this at this point. And there's been people that have looked at this and told me that there was different stuff going on down here, because this stuff was not in her home, such as these boxes right here and this, what somebody told me was a figure laying right here. These things weren't there. And I've also tried to reproduce this image by flipping my phone up and shaking it and taking pictures that I wasn't supposed to be taking, and it just didn't happen. And it's just bizarre. And let me give you another look at these. Take a look at that. And is that going to creep anybody out? Well, it should, because that's just bizarre. And if this is just a case of just accidental pareidolia stuff, man, this is the weirdest one I've ever seen. So if you find this picture out there in any on a search or a match or whatever, I promise you, absolutely, it came from my phone. I just, I just don't, I don't know what's up with it. Bear with me just a second. Here, I'm going to read a couple of these comments, and I want you to, have to look at this face for just a minute. Oh my God. What do you mean looks like Gollum? Joe Night Fury, you say you've seen something like that when you were younger? Well, baby picture, Billy Sanford, it's not my baby picture, I assure you that. Glass tubes on Mars, yes, I have. I have seen that. Richard West. Okay. So that may not even be the weirdest pictures that I have. And many years ago, I would look at this stuff and what's going on here? But I quit doing all that. It's just I can't. I could never get anywhere with it. And I don't want to try to read too much into these things, But it's happened to me so much. If I go out and try to take pictures of ghosts and things like that, it never works out. It's just things that have shown up on pictures. And I think that I also have, and I didn't take them. It was my son and his friends. But I have possession of it, and I've done some work on it. I think we have some really good pictures of orbs. And most of the time when people show me orbs, I look at it and I say, I think it's a trickle eyed. It's most of the time. But I have seen footage, and one of them was by my late brother, Casey Roberts, who was shooting a documentary with his students in a haunted train station, supposedly. And and I have to find this, but there's a scene where you can see someone moving through there. He told me that, and I can't remember which way it was now, when they were looking at that live, they saw someone, but when you looked at it on the film, it was an orb. It was just a round thing moving through. One way or the other, I can't remember which, but it was really, really interesting. And I don't know about most of them or what they would be. Because remember, we're capturing something. If we are getting something real at all, and it's not a trick of light or of the camera, now we're getting on digital imagery as well as film. If it's real, it's a two-dimensional display of something that is in dimensions that are probably far beyond 3 and 4, I would guess. And dimensions I'm speaking of are just frequencies. So I don't know what they would be really, but the pictures that I have from one specific evening where they were taking them, I think we've got something that most people cannot get, and that is perspective of these things floating, these bubbles that are floating out there. You can see them where they're coming from behind people, behind their heads, behind walls where you can see parts of them. You understand what I'm saying? And I'll show them to you in the episode where we're going to kind of look at that. But I would like people to send those to me also. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. For those of you out there, when you have images that you cannot explain of what you think may be a spirit or the orbs, and again, the only reason I'm kind of sold on orbs being authentic sometimes is because of the ones that we have possession of in imagery. I can't explain it any other way. Something was out there. Something was floating around, and it wasn't soap bubbles. Send them to me at jimmy@marsfam.net. I want to collect them up and do a show on it. I'll give you, full credit. Tell me how you want yourself, spoken of, the name you want. I won't give out anything that you don't want given out. But, I would like to know one way or the other so people can quit chasing bubbles that aren't there if they aren't. Okay? Let me read a couple of comments here. Hey, love from the UK, Andrew Lane. You are up late or up early. I don't know which it is. I say that every time. JB Charm loves the paranormal, outer space issues, all the structures found, asteroids, comets, planets, moons, etc. And it's really strange, I guess, how a lot of that's thrown together. Did I just bump that? The meters just all went crazy. It scared my poor puppy down here. They get thrown together in the people that are wingnuts, conspiracy theorists and all that. All you got to do is say someone's a conspiracy theorist nowadays, and the media will just throw them out to the trash. I don't like all these conspiracy theories, but the problem is there are such things as conspiracies, and it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. So, you got to be careful. But the paranormal, UFOs, aliens and all that gets thrown into the paranormal. Or occult even. And occult really, if you look back on the definition, it's really a misunderstood science. Occult doesn't have to mean, or didn't originally have to mean, witches and spooks and devils and goblins, and Ouija boards. It's just unexplained science, and we probably see more unexplained science than we do science that we've explained to some extent. We just don't realize it. But if, most of the things that people tell me they've seen or this or that, it's, in relation to ghosts, pictures they show me, I'm not one to believe everything, but if you got something good, go ahead and send it, because we'd really like to take a look. Well, okay, Jeremy Hall says occult means hidden. I'll go for that. Stephen Cosmic McMaster, you're getting deep into it here about the physical sense. Now, when we learn to control those physical thoughts, manifestation can be in abundance. Woo! I can't disagree with you. Again, Rebecca Turner, occult means hidden. The actual meaning of the word. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Swamp Gas, greetings and salutations. I assume your reference is to the infamous swamp gas that was blamed on, what was it one time? I think it's happened more than once. Oh my God, this face is over here staring at me. I got to get it off this screen. I can't deal with that for very long. Folks, I got images that are wackier than that, and every one of them is bizarre in its own way, but it's worth doing a show over and looking at, because I know a lot of people are interested in it, and a lot of people that are attracted to that are attracted to the Mars and Moon anomaly type situation. It's just that I understand that, because I am too. However, with Mars, especially, I try to push that stuff out of the way. The what we the we don't call it a cult. I don't like using that word for it, because hidden should not be a spooky word. When people say a cult, they or hear a cult, they think witchery, witchcraft, and this and that or whatever. That's not what it's supposed to mean. You know, words change meaning through the years, just like the word meek. What do you think the word meek means? Why is it said that the meek shall inherit the earth? Meek? A lot of people think, and I used to think meek just meant weak. The timid. Well, actually, biblical terms, I believe meek is those that stood back, maybe didn't fight because, say, God didn't want them to fight, and they were strong enough to not do something such as fight or war because God didn't want them to. And it was apparently a very difficult thing to do. And meek described these people. They may have seemed timid and scared to do what needed to be done, but actually they were extremely strong. So the word meek has kind of lost its meaning too. It does not mean weak. It's a perceived weakness, which is really a super strength. So, and the one that bugs me the most is dope. When I was a kid, and I'm 55 years old, 55, 55, Morgan Roberts, Seth Roberts. At 55 years old, I can say that in the 70s, when I was growing up, dope was marijuana. You know, he's out there smoking dope. He was smoking marijuana. Now dope means crack and the stuff that's not legal anywhere. You know, not even Amsterdam. So you got to watch it, what you say these days, because words do not mean the same thing. Just going to read a couple of comments here, because you guys really got some interesting things to say here. John Bruno, where are you, by the way? It says, this awakening is so wild. I'm not sure which awakening we're talking about. I used to be a nuts and bolts guy, but now it all points to consciousness. Well, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Well, I'm trying to be nuts and bolts. That's a good way to put it with the Mars situation. I've got to stick with that, because when we throw this other stuff in, when you think of the Mars situation as a cult, you lose the interest of real scientists. You just cannot, you've just got to separate them. So if you're interested in what's going on Mars, you should be. But when we have a strictly Mars show or even Moon show, we kind of keep that stuff out of the way. Now, I can't say if there is anything such as advanced non-human biological entities running around today, that they're not capable of doing things that would appear to be magic to us, because it's unexplainable to us, but it's probably very simple to them. I'm not going to say I don't believe that that's going on, but we just kind of don't talk about it. It's kind of like Bigfoot. We got a show coming on that too, and I plan on having one of the top guys on that here. And one of the reasons is, just right down the road, if you ever saw The Legend of Boggy Creek back in the 70s, this is what inspired the Blair Witch and all of that. That film was shot basically right here in this town, because it took place in Falk, Arkansas. And that's not where I am, but it's right down the road. That's where the real Legend of Boggy Creek was, the Bigfoot, Sasquatch. And if you've ever talked to anyone that has actually seen one of the real things while they were out in the woods, while they were camping, whether on the West Coast or in Missouri, what is it, Momo the Missouri Monster, down in Louisiana, every state in the continental United States has a pretty good verifiable, and I say verifiable witness type story of these things. I don't know where they go, but I just believe there's something going on here, and this goes all the way back to Native Americans. East Texas is full of them, and especially down in the Big Thicket. And this part of Texas, and you're going up in Arkansas towards Mena. Uh, I know people. I've not seen one myself, but I know people that have seen them, especially around Mena. They've seen them cross Highway 71. I know people that have seen them in the woods hunting. And these people that, when they really see them, you can tell because they get this look in their eyes, and it's like they know that they can't explain the magnitude of what this thing was, because these creatures are full grown, 8 to 10 feet tall. They smell horrible, but they also seem to bring some type of high strangeness with them. And if you watch what's gone on up in Ontario with that guy, the Sasquatch, they tend to be able to get into places that they shouldn't be able to get into, such as cabins and stuff, and they really stay away from people. And I can't blame them. When you stay away from us, we've talked about this before on other shows, if you're more advanced than us, what do you want to do with us? I mean, we're probably trash. If you're less advanced than us, you better stay clear, because we're going to get you. I might not do it, and you might not do it, but humans will get you. One way or the other, if you are a subspecies of a human, you're going to be damaged somehow by humans, one way or the other. Either we're going to use up your resources, or enslave you, use you for food, something. That's just the way it is. So these guys stay clear of us. And I've talked to a lot of people that have run into them. And when we get Daryl Sims on here, he doesn't look for Bigfoot, Sasquatch, but he says when you're in the business he's in, people bring this stuff to you, and he's got hair samples and stuff from it. I think they're there, but we're going to save this for another time. But anyway, one of the more famous Bigfoots is from right around here, and we'll get to that on another time. But once again, the reason I brought that up is because Bigfoot is thrown in with the occult. That's hidden. That's a very good, true description for the guy, but the guys. But those big, hairy, smelly bipeds are probably just a very tangible, real creature that are an exceptional, the hide and seek champ, as we call it. I don't know where they go. I don't know if they're not going underground. I'm not saying they just pop out of here, but we should look into that on another episode, because whether I get who I want to get on here or not to talk about it. Kim Carrier, the master of the molded model. Now, Kim's also a friend of mine. He knows Daryl. Kim's down in Houston, Space City. And he says in the small town of Roosevelt, near the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, is a diner owned by a man who has a great Sasquatch story. Daryl Sims knows about the Skinwalker Ranch. So does David Gannett. And we need to go down there. I am leery of a lot of things, but we need to go down there, or we need to talk to somebody that's been down there. These shows, I started watching the show about the Skinwalker Ranch, whatever channel that was running on. And once again, I just can't deal with it, folks, because this stuff is so dramatized. Everything is so exaggerated in these shows. When they go out hunting Bigfoot, they have to have things happen. When they have these ghost hunting things. They have to make things happen. It's all about television. It's all about money. It's all about ratings. Uh, the UFO shows, and you've got some reputable people on there. But this also goes for Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens does make you think. I will give it that. But now here we go. Well, first, Stephen McMaster, the reptilians, also not. I must have missed. Oh, wait a minute. He's talking about reptilians and hybridizing humanity. Galactic Council. Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm not going to say it's not. But Rockstar, I just got an invite to go to Skinwalker with a team. Hey, Rockstar, email me at marsfam.net and tell me something about that because, you know, if you do that, we'd like to talk to you, get you on the show. All you need is a computer and Zoom or Skype or something, and I'll throw you up here with this guy. No, actually, we can have actually as many guests as we want. As you can see here, we could have two guests right here. That's for you, Dave Gannett, and Chris Maroney, if you don't dare answer that email. Mackenzie Rockstar, no offense. Oh my gosh, now we're getting ugly. eh. Uh, Bill Gorman says you emailed me pics of Egyptian Atlantean figures in Colorado. How long ago did you do that? I If I haven't answered that, I think either I've missed it or I did check that yesterday morning, but I may have missed it. Uh, Let me check over in the spam. Sometimes things go over there, and I don't check that every time. So, Brian Yak, somebody been listening to way too much Corey Good. Brian Yak, are you talking about me? I mean, it's okay if you are, because there's a lot of people that talk about me, and I don't care. Well, I mean, I care, but I got thick skin. But I just curious who you're talking about because I mean, I don't listen to Corey Good. I don't watch that show, his show, and there's a lot of people mad at him, and why is that? I don't even know what's going on with that. I, there's one guy on my Facebook that every day he's talking about a lawsuit against Corey Good, and I don't know what's going on there. I mean, he's got something against the guy. Uh, I don't have anything for or against him. I've probably looked at some stuff of his at one point or other, but I don't keep up with him. So if uh, if I said something that sounded Corey Goodish, it was by coincidence. Believe me. On the History Channel, History Channel. Are you talking about the? I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but there was a Skinwalker Ranch thing that came on, and I just knew that they were going to make things happen on it. It's drama. It's drama. It's drama. And we're really kind of just hanging out here. Oh, Corey Good sues everyone. Ha ha. But people keep asking, what happens to Tyler? What happened to Tyler? We'll get back to that again. Kim says he was driving his Bronco down in a canyon over there years ago, and a Bigfoot standing at the top of the cliff threw a large boulder to the Bronco, almost hitting it. He was terrified. And more people talking stuff about Corey Good. Well, uh, back to Corey in a minute. I don't really know what to say about him. A lot of people are upset about him. What has he done? You know, and I'm certainly not a fraud. I don't put enough stuff out here to be fraudulent about. The images that I'm showing and what I'm telling you is going on, all you got to do is look at it. So I don't know what happened with Corey Good. You know, a lot of people start out, I guess like I did, just trying to show some things that they thought was going on or knew was going on, and then you get popular, and you got to really keep that bar up there. And I'm not saying that's what he did. I'm not saying that's what Tyler did. Tyler had some questionable stuff on there, but the good thing about Tyler, Secure Team 10, you know, hey guys, it's Tyler here with Secure Team 10, and I got something special for you today. You know, I kind of miss that. You know, and his alien thing going do 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 do. But the magic of his show was people were sending him great stuff, and he could present it. You know, he had a great situation going, and whatever happened with him happened, and he decided to claim there was some hard to believe shenanigans, and I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and then he came back and said that, without saying it, he said he'd made a mistake, and he regretted it, and he just wanted to move forward. And I wanted to give him the chance to do that, because, guys, really, he was presenting what other people were finding out there, pictures of UFOs that they had. He got kind of carried away with the booms that were going on around the world, but maybe not. I mean, I still don't know what that was about. But he was presenting things that other people were sending him. If there was anything faked in there or whatever, I don't know. I really don't know. But what's bizarre to me is that after he put out that apology, it disappeared, and then he started putting out some videos again, a few, and supposedly somebody was going to run his channel or something for a bit. Then it just all his content disappeared. You know, the word was that he had a DUI and assault charges going on with his wife, and I don't know. I don't know what came of all that. You know, I would hate to think, you know, I'd hate to think the guy's in jail. But why did his content disappear? So he did seem to have some trouble. He made some mistakes, and you know, we shouldn't judge anybody for that. But it's going to hurt you when you do something like that. But at least he came back and admitted it. That, you know, I don't know. But he was killing it, man. He was killing it. He had 1.2 million subscribers, or 1.4 million. I think he's lost several 100,000 subscribers, but there's no content there anymore. I just don't know what to think about it. So no, well, Corey Good, David Wilcock, all that. Spike Bender, right. He was entertaining, and talking about Tyler again, his content was entertaining. He had a lot of stuff, and he was making a couple of 3 videos a day sometimes. I don't know how much he was sleeping. Hopefully we're going to get on here with a real show later this week, maybe by this weekend, if I can get Chris Maroney out of Hawk or whatever's going on. And everybody, I will talk to you hopefully with just, let's see, what time is it? This is Saturday. Hopefully by next weekend at the latest, we'll have that show going. And it will be, it's going to be a Mars show. So everyone, we will see you then.